played the boxing game. And what this speaks to, and this is a boxing show, boxing is fundamentally exploitative. I get this as a fan. It's a guilty pleasure. I get it, right? And usually it's fans and networks exploiting fighters, right? We say, we want to see you in blood and guts fights, which risks their health for the rest of their life to entertain us. But here's what's crazy to me about a fight like that. And I remember, when I'm a little kid, Sugar Ray Leonard wins the gold medal. And then you blink, he's fighting Benitez for the title. Then he's fighting Durant twice. Then he's fighting Hearns. It didn't take 100 years to make the fight. But what's wild about something like this is a real super fight. And I said this on the broadcast for Crawford and Canelo. Can't be promoted into existence. Right. What a real super fight is, the dust settles in an era, and there are two dudes left standing. There's Ali, there's Frazier, there's Leonard, there's Hagler, there's Mayweather, there's Pacquiao. That's a super fight, right? There's Crawford, there's Canelo. Those are two big fighters of the era. This type of fight, this could easily be at the end of an era, because Teo might be a dude left standing and Shakur could be the dude left standing, right?
I agree. Are you training to do something to not just beat Shakur, but to beat him in grand fashion? When I say grand fashion, I mean going for the knockout.
Well, I think that the whole thing is the Bible of boxing really is that if you look for the knockout, you won't get it. I think really it's just all about setting the good pace early in the beginning rounds and then going from there.
We have going for us when a person underestimates you. That's lovely. And that ain't the only thing he's underestimating.
All right, here's the deal. Max Kellerman isn't holding back, saying this matchup presents serious challenges for Shakur and will truly put his abilities to the test.
I don't know if it's going to be the most aesthetically pleasing fight. We've seen the way Teo goes against some of these boxers. We've seen Shakur in some bad fights, obviously. Although Shakur looks pretty damn good against Williams Zepeda. Teo's not a pressure guy. He likes to counter punch. Two counter punchers, really.
Yes, it is not but there are some fights, guys. I think about Pernell Whitaker and Buddy McGirt, or Sugar Ray Leonard and Wilfred Benitez. I love the high-speed chess match. Yes. Not every fight has to be rock'em sock'em robots, right? That is, I agree with you. Aesthetically, there could be problems because someone has to take the lead, and they're both counterpunchers. But Chris, Teo has some angles with his feet that might bother a guy like Shakur.
That's exactly what I was thinking. He has great angles with the feet. He moves greater in the ring. And combination fighter, to me, combinations is the best. It's key to win a fight.
Teo keeps pushing forward with confidence, claiming Shakur Stevenson is in for a harsh reality check once they step into that ring together.
He was number one, my mandatory, and he was too hesitant trying to commit to punches. So I think that it's just something that's going to be a rude awakening for Shakur.
Hey, Doug, you hear that? He said the Bible of boxing. What else is called the Bible of boxing? Ring Magazine. And he's a two-division Ring Magazine champ.
Great ambassador for those championship belts as well.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm very big on those things. I claimed 2 weight divisions, 2 Ring Magazine belts just at 25.
Shakur's trainer, Jack, mentions they stuck with their proven preparation approach, but tweaked the game plan this time around to get him ready more effectively. They incorporated some additional
trying a few new little things, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, it's basically the same thing we've been doing. We changed the strategy, but no camp is never exactly the same. So yeah, it's just like always. We may try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it's mainly the same things. One of the best things we have going for us when a person underestimates you. That's lovely. And that ain't the only thing he's underestimating. So we're good.
Max Kellerman points out that although Shakur brings serious power, Teo's physical presence and movement around the ring are equally dangerous, demonstrating his heart and technical ability. What really stands out about Teo's
style, when you have a guy like Shakur whose defense is that good, and he's not just a guy who's going to hug you, he can box, the easiest thing in the world is just to pick him against everybody.
Right.
Yes. But Teo also has the kind of footwork, Malik, where he steps around guys. And I think about Buddy McGirt, Meldrick Taylor.
Yes.
Roy, where Meldrick had quick enough feet where if you were going to come right at Buddy McGirt, he could box you. But Meldrick could give him angles that were more difficult. I think of Roy Jones, James Toney. If you were going to go at James Toney, forget it. His defense is too good. But Roy had the feet to move around James Toney, and maybe Teo has the feet to move around Shakur.
I seriously doubt it, man. Shakur is a whole different type of animal. His ring IQ is up there with the best. He's getting literally, I don't know how many times we've seen 2 pound-for-pound fighters.
Shakur feels like people constantly hate on him and refuse to acknowledge what he's accomplished, always making his wins seem less important by dismissing his competition.
After and just kept it moving. I do feel like I am in a situation that when I do make fighters look bad and beat them up, the first thing that they going to run to is, oh, this guy wasn't that good, or this guy is not nobody. They're going to take away from my resume, same way they did with Bud. Just like my last fight, they turned the dude that I was fighting and they say he's a cab driver. But I want to say his fight before he fought me, he fought Nakatani. And no disrespect to Teo. Teo had, a majority decision with Nakatani. Lomachenko, it took him 9 or 10 rounds to get him out of there. That dude got him out of there in 6. So he couldn't be as bad as how they made him seem. But I think I'm just in a lose situation when it come down to it, because anybody that I fight, they gonna act like I didn't fight nobody in.
Now he's focused on making a statement and shutting up all the critics.
Because anybody that I fight, they gonna act like I didn't fight nobody in. Even with Edwin, Edwin is a great fighter, but after I beat him, they're gonna sit there and say that he wasn't as good as I'm saying he is.
Ryan Garcia recently weighed in on this massive showdown between Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez. Though he's leaning toward Shakur taking the victory, he's quick to mention that sleeping on Teofimo would be a mistake. Garcia breaks down how Stevenson's technical excellence, quickness, and defensive wizardry put him in a strong position, creating problems for everyone in the lightweight ranks. Still, he recognizes that Lopez brings serious knockout power, mental toughness, and the ability to make mid-fight adjustments that keep things interesting. Garcia stresses that elite-level boxing often comes down to tiny details, perfect timing, and seizing the right moments. Any champion-level fighter needs to stay sharp, because one perfectly executed sequence or smart tactical shift can flip everything upside down. Garcia sees this as an incredible style clash, where Stevenson's technical mastery goes head-to-head with Lopez's attacking variety. Though Shakur gets his vote, he makes it clear that Teofimo definitely has what it takes to steal the show.
I would put my money on Shakur, but shit, I won't be surprised if Teofimo surprises us all, for sure. I think I'm underestimating Teofimo a little bit, but I don't think he can make the necessary adjustments to his own style to combat what Shakur does best. But he could definitely prove me wrong, for sure.
Oscar Valdez just broke down his take on the Teofimo Lopez against Shakur Stevenson battle, diving into why he thinks Teofimo can pull this off. Valdez highlights Lopez's stance work, ring movement, and instinctive counterattacking skills. He explains how Teofimo leverages his rear foot for stability, creates space when pressure builds, and uses his wingspan advantage to connect with accurate return fire. This approach lets him get involved in exchanges while minimizing the damage he takes, something he's perfected through his amateur background and Olympic training. Valdez makes it clear that casual viewers might not love watching this approach, but it's essential to Teofimo's success. He explains that defeating someone like Shakur Stevenson demands patience, perfect timing, and calculated aggression.
Power, but you got to hit him first. And Shakur Stevenson, the way he's positioned, the way his back foot's there, and then you see him comfortable, and he's all right. This is my shot, and you throw it. He just rocks back, or he has that back foot, just steps back, and he has a long reach, so he just counters punches you. And that's part of the game. You get hit and not get hit. And Shakur Stevenson does it to the T. He perfected that since he was an amateur and Olympian, silver medalist, and now he's done it as a professional. You know, maybe not the whole world enjoys it, but the boxing, the pure boxing fan will maybe appreciate that.
I know you tried to do it, and Shakur's undefeated at this point, but like, how do you beat a Shakur Stevenson?
You know, I think how you beat a Shakur Stevenson, if I can go back, you do something, try.
Teofimo needs to pick his spots carefully to connect with meaningful punches that put Stevenson in uncomfortable situations, similar to how other smart fighters have handled technically gifted opponents throughout boxing's past. Valdez references historical fights where precision and opportunistic attacks have helped long-shot fighters score shocking wins. In Valdez's view, Lopez's composure, distance management, and ability to fire back under heat make him genuinely dangerous. If he can apply intelligent pressure while keeping his defense tight, Teofimo might just crack Stevenson's perfect record. Valdez views this showdown as more than a skill comparison, seeing it as a chess match where Lopez's counterpunching and tactical discipline could swing everything his way.
And make that damage where he has no option. And we all got tremendous fighters who box very well. You got Sugar Ray Leonard till Roberto Duran came, and he ended up catching him. You got Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker. He was an amazing defensive fighter. So Zurdo Ramirez came in and beat him. Then and other fighters. So everyone I think time will tell what type of fighter, but I would say a pressured fighter. Maybe someone like Pitbull. We know Pitbull has had some losses with guys who are even less defensive fighters than Shakur Stevenson. So Rayo Venezuela and then Gervonta Davis, and then this controversial fight with
Zach Moses didn't hold back when discussing the upcoming clash between Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, boldly predicting that Stevenson will likely control this fight from start to finish. He breaks down how Shakur's technical excellence, hand speed, and fight intelligence create major problems for Lopez. Moses explains that Stevenson's range control, opponent reading ability, and mistake capitalizing skills make him a nightmare matchup for anyone in the lightweight picture. Though he gives Teofimo credit for his knockout power and fighting spirit, Moses thinks Stevenson's proven track record, mental strength, and systematic approach will shut down Lopez's best weapons. He brings up previous battles against fighters like Vasyl and Motin to show how Stevenson has repeatedly solved aggressive opponents, proving his style creates unsolvable puzzles.
Shakur's in a massive fight against Teofimo, Madison Square Garden next week. How do you see that playing out?
I see him beating the shit out of Teofimo. I see Teo just, I don't want to really say too much, but I see Teo coming to do what he do, and I see Shakur coming to do what he do. And I just see Shakur doing whatever he want. And any type of way he want it, that's how it's going to be. And next week is a big week. And I can't wait for bro to show everybody, for real.
You said beat the shit out of him. Do you think he's going to stop Teofimo Lopez? Do you think if he wants to, he can?
I mean, he act crazy. I think he can. That's all I'm going to say. He act crazy. I think he can.
Last one. Obviously, with that fight in the horizon, you want to be involved in big fights like that going down, that New York, New Jersey rivalry. Is that something that inspires you when you see Shakur doing this at the highest level?
I mean, for sure.
Listen up. Antonio Tarver just dissected the upcoming battle between Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, mapping out Lopez's only real route to victory. Tarver breaks down how Stevenson thrives by managing range, working his angles, and keeping everything in the middle of the ring. When Shakur controls this positioning, he naturally dominates the action, shutting down Lopez's opportunities to create damage. But if Stevenson gets forced backward or finds himself trapped on the ropes, Lopez suddenly becomes extremely dangerous. His combination throwing and two-handed attack sequences make him lethal in tight spaces, particularly against slick defensive specialists. Tarver emphasizes that physical preparation and mental sharpness are equally important.
Angles, keeping that fight sort of in the middle, you got to favor Shakur. But if he's on the back foot, if he's on the ropes, that's going to give Teofimo a lot of opportunities. And what makes Teofimo, I believe, dangerous in this fight, he throws both hands in succession. He's a combination type puncher, and that always serves well if you got a real slick defensive fighter in there. If Shakur can show us a little bit of that, what he had in his last fight, a lot of that work in the center of the ring, it's going to be an exciting fight. I think you got to favor the guy who's in the best condition, not only physically, but mentally. I think, these guys are going to have to lock in, and they can't let, that intricate You know, you got to have your personal life in order. You know what I'm saying? Leading up to a fight this big. You know what I mean? That's going to be the key for both of these guys.
Both guys need to be in peak condition and completely locked in, leaving all outside drama behind, because at this championship level, even small mental lapses can end everything. While the numbers and styles point towards Stevenson as the probable winner, Lopez can make things much tougher by forcing exchanges and pressuring at the right moments. By keeping Stevenson worried about return shots, Lopez can break his timing, find openings, and possibly swing the momentum completely. Lopez's endurance and obsessive conditioning also become factors if this goes deep into championship rounds. Tarver reminds everyone that Teofimo has consistently delivered when people wrote him off, pointing to his performances against elite competition like Lomachenko and Josh Taylor. If Lopez can blend his power, accuracy, and never-quit attitude, he's got a legitimate shot at challenging Stevenson's reign, setting up this fight as a fascinating mix of skill, strategy, and pure determination.
They both possess?
Yeah, I mean, smart money would be on the boxer, you know, Shakur Stevenson, winning the decision. But, you know, if Lopez can make this fight, you know, a lot tougher than expected, you know, and he's going to have to exchange with Shakur. You know, he's a fast fighter. We don't know who's the quickest or fastest here. You have to give the speed edge to Shakur. But if Lopez can punch with this fast guy, make him a little bit cautious and a little bit leery of what's coming back, that serves him well. But Teofimo is one of the best conditioned fighters out there. If this fight goes late, you can expect him to be pushing forward round 9, 10, and 11 if it goes late.
Yeah, you know, a big question is always like what Teo is going to show up. And like when everyone's counted out Teo, it's actually been the times where he's like upset people, like against Lomachenko, against Josh Taylor, you know, fights to the level of his competition.
Wade Plemons dives deep into the mechanics of this Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson showdown, painting Stevenson as a defensive artist and ring general. Plemons explains how Stevenson's gift for converting defense into attack makes him special, establishing him as today's boxing scholar. He studies incoming shots, predicts opponent movements, and turns openings into scoring opportunities, flipping aggressive attacks into counter-punching chances. Plemons stresses that Stevenson's approach isn't about eating shots or depending purely on output volume, unlike fighters who rely on forward pressure and constant attacks. For Lopez, the blueprint probably involves using his ring intelligence while keeping an attacking rhythm going. Plemons suggests that if Lopez can force Stevenson to initiate exchanges and fight moving forward, it might reveal weaknesses in Stevenson's ability to control ring center aggressively. Lopez's flexibility in shifting between approaches, defensive, counter-attacking, and offensive pressure, could help him adjust to Stevenson.
A professor of the sweet science, you may say. And it's not like Teofimo has a William Zepeda-esque style. He's not just going to be front foot, volume punching, eat punches to give punches. That's not how he's going to fight. He is going to try to go boxing IQ for boxing IQ with Shakur, but I assume do it more on an offensive front foot pace than trying to goad Shakur to walk to him. I mean, it might be the best option for Teofimo if he could get Shakur to be front foot and offensive because of maybe the deficiencies Shakur has on the front foot. We haven't really seen him be a dominant front foot control center fighter. But this is why I'm hoping, again, knock on wood, we don't get like a defensive standoff where we're both feinting and no one wants to take the lead foot and both guys want to play counterpuncher. I think that Teo can do both better than Shakur can do both. I think Shakur is probably the better defensive to offensive fighter. I think Teo could probably switch between styles a little better.
But Plemons recognizes the mountain Lopez has to climb. Stevenson's defensive brilliance, mixed with his offensive transitions, makes him incredibly hard to crack. Lopez has to find ways to draw Stevenson into spots where counters become available. But pulling this off demands patience, accuracy, and perfect timing. One wrong move could let Stevenson take back control instantly. In the end, this fight is building into a tactical war between two elite-level fighters. Stevenson's defensive mastery and knack for turning defense into offense clashes with Lopez's offensive flexibility and adjustment ability, setting up a battle that tests strategy, timing, and ring smarts at boxing's highest level.
I mean, I assume he's talking about, I don't know. There could be a number of things he's talking about. Low blows, rabbit punches, rough clinch work, raking a forearm. I don't really know what he's talking about, but that's hilarious. He's just coming out and saying it. This is when Darren Till was telling Tommy Fury if he started losing the boxing match, he would kick him in the head. This is the same kind of energy, dude. Yeah, hey, listen, I might just do something illegal.
Basically, when you see a fighter like him, it is not illegal to do certain punches and throw certain punches or hit certain areas. It's not, as long as it's not below the belt line. Is that true?
Are you saying you're going to hit me in the back of the head? Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are we talking about? You can't. I'm going to punch him in the back of the head.
Huh?
You can't hit behind the head. I mean,
no, I know. There's rules to it.
Back of the head. You can't hit nobody in the back of the head.
Just saying, like, you know what? January 31st.
That wraps up today's breakdown. Catch you all next time.